Today we're gonna do pour painting with me and Sophia.
So I'm gonna show you how to mix the paints. Some of these we have pre-mixed, but we're gonna mix them up with glue. I'm gonna show you how to do that. And then Jalen and I are gonna give you a couple different examples of different ways to pour it. Here are a couple examples of some paint pours we've done in the last week. And let's get started. Okay, so to mix our paint, we do 1 part glue to 2 parts paint. So since I don't have a great way to measure this very accurately, I'm just gonna count. I'm gonna squeeze for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I'll just do that with each one of my colors. And then we're gonna stir it all together.
Howdy kids, if you have these bottles at home, you don't have to stir, you just have to shake them up. And you wanna shake it up until you can feel it swish back and forth. It should feel kinda like pudding, would be the best descriptor. But if it's too thick, it's not gonna pour out of the bottle. If it's too thin, it's gonna be a runny mess. So like I said, more like a pudding consistency. Yeah, that would be about it. Project, just try to keep everything on the plastic bag, but what I like to do is just get a little bit of paint on my finger, or you can squeeze it out of the squeeze bottle, and just get the corners, because the corners need to love on the canvas. Because what's gonna happen is, if you have not enough paint, and the paint's trying to slide over to the corners, it's gonna see the other paint and wanna stick to it. But if you have dry corners, then you're gonna run out of paint sometime if you don't use enough. So this will help your paint flow around like it needs to, get it all spread out. And the reason my canvas is green is because I used paint from a previous pour to prime the canvas. So what priming the canvas does is it allows, again, for your canvas to be less dry and for more paint to slide around a little easier than it would if you had a bare canvas like Sophia.
All right, so I pre-mixed these 3 colors, the pink, purple, and kind of peach color. And I'm also gonna use this white. And so basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this cup and I'm gonna fill it up about halfway with all of these paints, but I'm not gonna stir them together. So what I'll do is I'll just start layering my paints in any order with as many different layers as I want to get some sort of surprising, unique design. Ooh, that one still has a stick in it.
Hi everybody, so I poked a bunch of holes in the bottom of the cup, and this will just change the way that it comes out. So instead of pouring directly, I'm gonna flip the cup onto the canvas and pour straight into the cup. And this will just create a different effect. With this type of paint, you really don't have to do much, you know what I mean? Whatever it turns out is whatever it will be, if that makes any sense. So don't overthink it, is what I'm trying to say. Just do what you feel like. As long as you don't get paint on the carpet, you can't do any wrong. Okay, and now to stop it from flowing, do that. And I always use an extra cup just to catch the excess paint. Not all of it is gonna fall in there, but it's good to conserve the paint when you can. Makes for good primer, or if you get lucky, some of the pattern is still in there, and you can re-pour it onto another canvas.
This is a friendly reminder that we put down this black trash bag before we started. So make sure you take out a trash bag or some sort of plastic to cover the surface you're on, so that you're not making a mess on whatever your surface is.
Trash bag will work, a tarp will work. If you got an old towel that your family doesn't use, you can use that too.
gonna take these cups that I mixed my paint in and just kind of shake them upside down, like Jalen said, to kind of help the paint move around a little easier when I pour it. That looks pretty good to me. So the method I am going to use is I'm gonna take my cup that I have layered all of my different paint colors in. I'm gonna put my canvas on top of it, kind of centered. I'm gonna hold them both like this. And then I'm just gonna flip it. Make sure there's not a whole bunch of stuff around me to get messy. And lift it up.
Ooh.
Then I'm just gonna do pretty much the same thing Jalen did of just moving the paint all around the canvas, getting it to all of my corners and pouring it back into a cup to maybe use for later. Well, some of it, whatever I don't spill all over.
Okay, so one thing I suggest, if you're able to, get multiple canvas, because as you can see on this first one, I did a pretty decent job. I'm pretty happy with it. And on the second one, I didn't have nearly enough paint. I don't really like the colors, but that's okay, because this canvas can be reused, and this one I'll just let dry. But one thing you could do is either wipe all the paint off of the canvas, or you let it dry and then later pour over it again. So this one has been poured on twice already. This one already has paint on it as well. So you have usually up to like 2 or 3 times to pour over something before it gets too thick. So don't waste your canvas, don't throw it away if you don't like it. If it turns all gray or like mushy brown, that's okay too. Just reuse it, it'll be fine.
Okay, so I didn't like how like there wasn't very much marbling in the center at first. So I took this cup that I had poured off into and just did kind of a second layer and moved it around a little more to make more of a marble design. Ooh, and that's my finished product. So now I'm gonna set up some cups. Whoops, maybe.
Yep. I don't know what else to do.
A cup over there?
For sure.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. So I'm gonna flip 2 cups upside down, because if I put this directly on the bag, it would dry onto the bag and stick and might be a little bit of a mess. I'm just gonna take these 2 cups and balance it so that I can have this dry and drip off any excess paint off the edges.
At this point, what you can do with the tubes is just squeeze the tubes onto the canvas and swish it around later. This is fun. You don't have to squeeze hard and you don't need a lot of paint. How hard you can squeeze is gonna change how quickly thing comes out. And the thinner your paint too, the faster it'll come out. So I like mine a little thicker just so that it doesn't come out too quickly and ruin my project. But literally, paint can go anywhere. There's no rhyme or reason to it. Like I said, just do what you feel like doing. And once you feel like you've covered the whole space, corners and all, middle, then you can switch it around. But for now, I'm gonna continue on with my colors. And if you see that your colors are like this, where they're kind of like murky and you have like a little bit of white and green in it, that's probably because the glue isn't mixed up all together. So just continue to shake it up. Give it a good, couple seconds. and then it should come out whole one color. With this, I like to pretend like I'm icing a cake. And once you're done with that, you do the same thing you did to the other ones and just swish it all around. The cool part about this one too is if you see areas without paint, you just take your bottle at the top. You gotta take your cap off first. And just squeeze the paint on top as well. That way if you missed any corners, you just go straight for them.
And if you have a cup available, try to drip it into the cup. But if not, directly onto the garbage bag is just fine.